Why, hello. Itchy nose. Hi, everyone. It is Tuesday once again, and my name is Mary Cronert. And of course, I'm here on behalf of the Living Room Community Art Studio with another live stream artist Instagram chat. Hello, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So for everyone who might be joining us today, so happy to have you here. If you aren't able to tune in and stay for the entire live stream, that's okay. We archive it afterwards, so you can always find it on our Instagram page. And of course, you can also check out our YouTube channel where we upload like everything we do a few weeks after the fact. But for today, for now, if you are here to watch, we're so excited to be sharing space and time and wisdom with the one and only Faelan Hingston, who is just awesome. And you might know them on Instagram as Ms. Fairy Arts. And again, we're so happy to have them here. For artists who have recently graduated or who are making their way into the, any of the career paths that are available in the arts today, the last year and a half have been, how do we say this, a little bit strange. Even though we might assume that social media has made such a huge difference for everyone, making it possible to get out there and connect, there are still a lot of weird things going on in the world. And so as part of this series, I like to, stay in touch with artists of all ages and stages, walks of life, to learn more about how they're making their way through the world, what things they do to take care of their creative spirit and just keep on working, renewing themselves, becoming inspired, moving forward as artists, regardless of what kind of art they indulge in. So today we are talking to Ms. Fairy Arts. So why don't I interview them? You can ask questions if you like, and yeah, we'll just take it from here. I'm going to bring them on right now. And hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There are many, many questions that we can ask, and I'm sure there are so many things about Faelan. Artist, digital illustrator, comic creator. Hello! Did you like my really weird, elongated intro there? So strange.
I did. I loved it.
It's so good to see you. How are you doing?
So good to see you too. I'm doing great. I might have had a coffee this morning, so I'm a little jittery, but I'm excited.
That's okay. I'm also caffeinated so much so I'm like, I need to have some water. I remember water.
I do too.
Our emotional support water bottle.
Emotional support water bottle, also known as the work water bottle. So if I get paint on it, it's okay.
Oh. Yeah, we all need things like that. This whole room, I think, is covered in art mess. It's a surprise today that I'm not either. But it's so great to have you here. Now, for folks who...
Thank you for having me.
It's so great. I first met you through Danny Crosby, I believe, yeah?
Yes, it was, yes.
Yeah, and that was the fine art...
Yeah, it was the community collaboration in the fine arts at Durham College. And yeah, I love that. That was my, going into that course was very funny because we were, they give you the description on the Durham College website and you're reading it. My friend, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with people. No, I don't want. We get into it. And it was like my favorite class. It was the most fun I've ever had in a course. It was like the fact that we got to do so much community work and I got introduced to so much, first of all, the Living Room Art Studio. That was a joy to work with. I loved working with you guys. And then working towards a whole bunch of other, joys. We had people come in that we got to talk to, a lot of LGBT, a lot of race activists. And just so many people got to come and talk to us. And it was such a joy. That class, I loved waking up and going, okay, I'm going to get a blankie. I'm going to sit down. We're going to do some art today. And it was such a joy to be able to do the coloring pages for the Living Room Art Studio. And it was so much fun. I missed that class dearly.
Well, hey, now you have a whole world open and available to you.
Oh, absolutely.
Collaboration. But we can come back to that because I think that idea that, well, it's not uncommon. A lot of artists that I speak to, particularly folks who work in visual forms of art or sharing, there is this kind of anxiety around connecting with other human beings sometimes, especially
100%.
Yeah, and engaging in ways that are beyond their own, little comfort zone. So I'd love to I'd love to come back to that and talk more about that. But to start, okay, for anyone who's just tuning in now, I sort of give my weird introduction, but Faelan, for folks who may not be familiar with you or the work you do, can you explain who you are and what you do in your own words?
Yeah, sure. So put my water bottle down first of all. Okay, so I am Miss Fairy Arts. I also go by Faelan or even just Faye. I use the she, her, they, them pronouns, but also any pronouns work for me. I love all and any. I am an illustrator, a digital illustrator and comic artist. I primarily work digitally, but I also tackle a little bit in mostly watercolor and inks and a little bit into the acrylic, but mostly I am a illustrator in that I do character design, just really general any kind of illustration. And I am dipping my toes into the comic art. That is where it's new and I'm excited. But yeah, I'm an illustrator.
And has that always been the path of creativity that you've been drawn to, or like have you explored wanting to do?
Mostly what it started was I knew I wanted to do, it wasn't when I was younger, it wasn't like illustration like 100%. Hi Kayla. It wasn't 100% like, yes, illustrator, that's what I want. It was like, it was always the umbrella of, yes, artist, that's what I want to be. And it was slowly as I started doing more research back like the end of public school into high school, you know, when they give you the, okay, what do you want to do for the rest of your life as you're 13 years old? You know, you start to do more research into things. And so I realized illustrator is what I wanted to be, since that's a little more focused into visual storytelling and narrative work, which is where I absolutely love, is storytelling and narrative work. And I love, and kind of the comic artist came about as well during that time of high school when I was still exploring. But I learned it was also called cartoonist. So I was like, yes, that's 100% what I want to be. I want to be a cartoonist. But yeah, I guess illustrator has definitely been the route I've always wanted to go down. And I'm hoping it works out because I don't really have much of a backup plan.
That's cool. I love artists of all kinds so much. And that's one of the things I love, because we do sometimes, not all the time. I know some artists who seem to have it all together, a 10-year, 20-year plan.
100%.
I'm not one of those people myself.
No. I'm very good at faking it till I make it with, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Enough.
Sometimes all we need to, like with a passion to learn more and grow along the way, then, you know, we gather the knowledge and the skills and the technique that we need to become successful. But I think that passion, that love is really important, because if you're not in love or excited or at least interested in what you've chosen to do, none of that other stuff matters anyway.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like I'm slowly getting into the shop work, which like I'm making stickers and buttons and that kind of fun stuff. So I can feel myself tipping into the, oh my God, this is work, and I'm getting so anxiety and I'm getting scared about this work. I'm trying to make sure I'm finding time for myself to enjoy drawing for myself, which is hilarious because a lot of the stuff I'm making in a way is for me. I want this to physically exist for me. If you guys like it, okay, bonus, but it's for me. I want to have this in my life.
So, okay, let's talk about that. And then I do want to learn more about your shop as well. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So that line, again, that's been a recurring theme too with quite a few artists that we've talked about. That line between something that we love turning into work and this fear that once it becomes work somehow, then we'll lose our love for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're seeing that's such a relatable thing from creative.
Absolutely. It's such a fear that like the moment this becomes work, because of course we live in the good old fun capitalist market that like, if you're not making money, if you're not working 9 to 5, don't even bother. And it's hard because we need to make money as artists. We need to be able to live. Yeah. So it's hard when we start to turn what we love, our hobbies, we basically monetize them. And basically we start to lose that love because it's work. And so when you sit down to draw or paint for yourself, it's so hard to find the joy in it without like feeling, oh no, no one's gonna like this, or I'm not gonna make money off of this. It's so hard once you get into that. So it's really important to try and just find the love again, and be able to sit down and go, okay, this is just for me. This is not for anyone else. It's why it's important to have messy sketchbooks, you know, like just nasty, nasty sketchbooks, unfinished pages. There's ink all over them. They're not meant to be pretty. They're just for you. That's the really important thing.
So is that one of the things that helps you break through that?
Oh, yeah. I got so many sketchbooks from Durham that one of them is slowly becoming the messy sketchbook. Excellent. And it just, there's unfinished pages. There's always the 3/4 portraits, like nothing pretty, nothing fun. It's just for me. No one else gets to see this, just me.
See, this is at this, like in Living Room land, we talk about it in a similar way. We talk about ugly art and the permission to make things, just releasing yourself from the expectations that you might have about how others perceive you or how they might judge your work. And so that sketchbook, that place where you can just let it all out.
Exactly. Bleh.
Yeah.
Art vomit, just all over the pages. Just have fun.
I think art vomit. That's a T-shirt. I think.
Put that on a T-shirt.
And so when you have these sketchbooks, how else do you use them? Is it just something that you just pour out everything and let it go?
Yeah, I guess in a way it's just kind of like, because you know, you see like on Pinterest and Instagram, they always have like, ooh, yes, very pretty sketchbook, you know, all nicely kind of laid out. But like the messy sketchbook is just for you to test pens, test paint, and just this whole thing is falling apart. It's kind of in that sense that there is no wrong way to ruin the sketch. It's basically one of those ruin this book activities, in that you can draw whatever you want and no one else has to see it unless you want to share it, but it's for you, no one else, just for you to just enjoy taking and drawing whatever you want in it.
And I'm seeing ILB, there's like, so true, creating at the living room was that place for me, art for me. And
yeah, exactly, art for you, no one else, just for you.
So my other question would be, have you ever gone back to that sketchbook and taken a look through it, and do those pages hold potentially awesome stuff for you moving forward? Have you ever discovered?
100%. Yeah, like they're basically like a messy concept book, and you go, oh, I like that. Let me take that and bring it further, and maybe make this do a painting or an illustration, anything you want. It's more of just, you don't have to be pretty. Like, yes, nice crisp lines. Ooh, perfect paint strokes. No, scribble everything. Put sticky notes. Yeah. It's a way for you to kind of unleash that creativity without like trying to be nice and pretty. Like those beautiful, pretty, like moleskin sketchbooks. They're meant just to be a fun concept that you don't have to share. You don't have to share on social media. They're just for you to enjoy.
So this is interesting. This is the second or third time where the idea of social media has come up, which is, you know, as I was mentioning in the first, such a fantastic tool for so many people.
Oh,
but the flip side of that, of course, is this strange kind of creeping influencer, product-oriented lifestyle. You know, like the
algorithm. You know, it's not meant for art. It's not made for artists. It's meant for people to post every single day. And I'm like, well, I can't pump out art every single day. That's first of all not good for your mental health and not good for your body. Like, I'm already starting to feel some fun stuff with the wrist and the hands. And it's like, it's not safe, and it's not good for the algorithm to expect you to pump everything out. So I don't listen to the algorithm. I do whatever I want. You want me to post at midnight? That's too bad. I'm gonna post at midnight. If like 3 people see it, that's awesome. Thank you for the love.
Thank you so much for putting it out there, because I think for so many creatives, and especially during the pandemic, there has been this pressure to produce and to put themselves out there in ways that, I mean, even speaking for the living room, there have been days where I can't even think about posting something else or following up.
Oh yeah.
It feels like
it's even harder when they started posting up the video stuff. Like, videos are so hard to create because I don't have the equipment. I don't know if you know, but my tripod is a bunch of books. I don't have equipment. I have just books and a mini tripod. That's all I have. I don't have a bunch of really amazing gadgets to do. I would like that, but and it's so hard because you also have to plan ahead. You're like, okay, I gotta make sure the lighting's good. I gotta make sure my camera's good. It's such a pain, but they're so fun to make. It's just harder that they push that. They're like, okay, we want more of this. I'm like, well, that's too bad. I'm a visual artist. I'm not a video maker. I'm not gonna sit down and edit videos for the past hour. That's not what I do. I want to draw pretty girls and draw robots. Let me draw what I want, not make videos.
There's so much about what you said that I love. Okay, where does so okay, has this always been something like, yeah, the creative KP again, I need to get better with using that. I'm just going to post when I want attitude. How like have you always had that attitude, or was it something you teach yourself?
I slowly started to teach myself. It is harder some days where I'm really trying to push something or I'm trying to share something. I try not to share it too late in the day because I do want people to see it. I do want people to enjoy the content I'm making, but I'm trying not to stress myself out like, oh my God, I don't panic about, oh my God, I haven't posted for the past, 4 days. Yeah. They're all going to forget about me. I try not to worry about that at all because I post when I want to. But I do try, like I said, I do try to at least try to stick in a time frame that's like at least Eastern Standard Time, people are awake and people are up. That like at least try to fit into that window, but I'm not panicking about, trying to fit in every single day because that's not reasonable. That's not good for your mental health at all.
So when it comes to creating, do you have anything that you do go by? Any sort of things that guide your practice that you couldn't do without?
Oh my goodness. I guess, like
I'm not answering that.
It's like I always stumble on this question. It's like, how is your artist process? And I go, I don't know. I just draw. In that, like, I guess, oh man, I guess it's what I always follow by is one thing I'm trying to learn, I'll tell you this, is I'm trying to get used to doing thumbnails before a big piece. It's so hard that I'll do the sketch and I go, yes, I like that. And I don't explore any other options. And it's something I'm trying to learn myself in that don't always go with the first option unless you do, then that's fine. But it's one thing in my process that I'm trying to relearn, in that, more concepts, more thumbnails. Don't go big right away because once you go big, you can't go back. But I guess my process is very like, it's standard. It's, it's sketch, line art, color, and especially digitally, it'll be, okay, now we're going to do some rendering with shading and highlighting. Digitally, that's kind of how I go about with watercolor. It's completely different. You have to be a lot more careful because it's not, you can't undo, not with digital. With watercolor, you have to be a little more precise, a little more gentle, and a little more cautious, which hard, especially when you've only done digital. You kind of learn to be like, whatever, I do what I want. So there's anxiety with traditional work for me because I have such a perfectionism when it comes to digital or traditional work, because I really, really want everything to be like, yes, I want this line to be perfect. I want this paint stroke to be perfect. No white spots, get that out of here. And so like there is anxiety with traditional compared to digital, which I feel like any digital artist who also does traditional can understand. There's that anxiety that comes with both.
And has digital artwork always been a part of your life?
Unfortunately, yes. I say unfortunately, like it's a bad thing, but it's not. It has. Like I started, oh man, when did I start? I think I was about 13 and I had the bamboo Wacom tablet. It was that flat one where when you're drawing, there's nothing on the tablet. You're looking at the screen as you draw. So you're doing this. Yeah. And that was my first tablet. And I had that for many years. And then eventually my computer died and I still haven't gotten all my work off of it. This was like back when I was in high school. Yeah. And then for years, I didn't have any digital work. I was only doing traditional. I don't think I did a ton of art at that time because traditional, you have all this prep work you have to do. So I didn't produce a ton of art. And then I got the iPad and then suddenly I was like, pumping out so much artwork. I was able to create so much. And that was when I actually hit college. So if you can, I actually have like from when, if you were able to go all the way down to the bottom of my Instagram, you can see that's when I started to post art again, all the way up to now. And so, yeah, like digital art has been a part of my life since I'm going to say definitely since I was 13. And I'm 22 now. That's how old I am.
This is amazing for someone. I mean, of course, yes, I am old, because digital art for me still seems so new. It's so strange and new, and I have never explored it. So there's this really strange divide. So it's fascinating to hear that there is this anxiety with, that it comes with like the hand creation of a watercolor, for example, versus a digital piece where you have more, I guess, the ability to alter as you go.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's which is something I'm trying to like get, not try to get, it's my comfort zone. Like I'm not trying to have it be my safety net.
Yeah.
Because I do want to do more watercolor, but there's the anxiety, of course, because digital, you're able to alter, you're able to resize, you're able to fix things. With traditional, you're not able, if you've got a giant white space on your canvas, well, that's too bad. You have that now. You can't circle around the art piece and move it. All right. It's there.
Yeah. It's fascinating to think about what you can do with that. Do you think that, I mean, like, just like the sketchbook, the example of having your sketchbook where all the mess goes, where just the art ideas go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's possible to approach, the watercolor work that you do, the non-digital work you do in a similar way, to give yourself permission for it not to be so perfect?
Yeah, that's something I'm trying to relearn, which is what's with the sketchbook, is that the sketchbook, it can be messy, it can be fine. I'm trying to also learn that with traditional pieces, and that, okay, if it's messy, that's okay. If it didn't turn out exactly perfect, that's okay. And it's a hard thing to relearn, to kind of come out of perfectionism. Because again, it's with the sketchbooks, it's with the pretty workspaces, it's with everything, kind of Pinterest and Instagram, everything's pretty and perfect, but it doesn't have to be. So it's hard to come out of that perfectionism mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And let people know. I think it's an education process as well with people, which is another thing with, sharing everything that we do, or sharing selected works with people, that we have this ability to curate a relationship with whoever our fans or our audience is.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
Exciting time. And I see, again, Creative KP talking about, the digital art is more freeing, but on the other hand, I love the traditional project. And do you find, and I know there is, like, as far as digital technology goes right now, there's the capacity or the capability of doing almost anything to look like it.
We've come such a long way from digital work that, like, there are brushes or pens in the softwares that can replicate watercolor painting, oil painting, acrylic painting, traditional ink work. And it's so liberating, because if you're a typically traditional artist, you can go into a software with that capability and be able to create traditional pieces, or at least be able to replicate that effect. And I've used that. I'm trying to use it. I'm so used to the digital, nice, flat, clean, no bumps or anything. And I'm exploring those brushes more, but there's a variety of, like, so much you can do now with digital work. Like, you can basically create an entire oil piece digitally and have it printed out and have someone question, okay, is this traditional or is this digital?
It's amazing. I was reading about that, the museum pieces. There were some, it was fairly recently. I can't remember where it is. If someone in the comments knows, throw it in there. But yeah, we're getting to a point now where it's becoming more and more difficult to tell, and especially with different printing capabilities. And I think at one point in time there was this real sense of, well, digital illustration or digital art isn't, like, it's not real art, that it wasn't real unless you sweated and like blood, sweat, tears into the paint.
I've blood, sweat, and teared all over my tablet. It's real. It may not be on the piece, but it's real. Yeah. So it's so frustrating when that conversation comes up, because it is art, because I have sat there and I have spent hours on a piece, on a digital piece, and I spent, it'll basically, like, if you timed both me and someone else, like basically someone traditional, I would probably get it done faster. And that's because, like, the other part of the conversation about, because it's not real art, is because there are shortcuts made to make art easier and faster. Because of course we live in a consumerism capitalist market, of course, so yeah, it's going to make sense, but in the sense that it's made to be easier and faster. So for instance, as a comic artist, I've found brushes and pens and stamps that can create, I found one that can create a bookshelf, like a row of books. I found ones where, oh, here's a bunch of bushes you can create, like things to make things faster and easier. And a lot of people argue that, like, oh, that's not real art because you didn't sit there for the past 2 hours trying to get every single brush stroke of a branch of a tree. I thought, well, I don't got time for that. I don't have to sit there for the next hour trying to draw individual leaves when I can easily use brushes created by other artists to make the work faster and easier. Like, if we had, in traditional sense, if you had a stamp that you were able to use on a piece to make bushes and stuff, you would use them because it would get your work done faster and you'd be able to enjoy the piece longer.
Well, it reminds me of conversations, I mean, in the, olden times. I mean, some of the, the fine artists and, had workshops where they didn't even touch the painting until other, their assistants prepped the canvas and added in the background pieces. Or like, this is not a new thing. There, it comes from a history of how can artists create with greater freedom and ease so that they can make
exactly. Like, for instance, thinking about like rulers and things like, oh, here's the perfect circle. I 100% like believe that people were upset, like, oh, that's not real. You need to sit there and draw the perfect circle by yourself. And I'm like, well, we have this is what they are. They're tools. We have tools to use to make things easier, so we don't have to be sitting here blood, sweat, and tears on a piece when you have the tools capable of creating art and enjoying it more, because you're not stressing over being able to draw the perfect, bush.
And, it makes me, this conversation about the stigma that's associated with digital art, or has been for a long time. I think even some colleges and universities have, I think, who was I talking to and said they couldn't include any of their anime oriented art in their portfolio when applying to colleges. That there are certain places out there that won't allow you to include any of that because they don't consider it fine art enough, I suppose.
So, well, Kayla also mentions, same with references, like 100%, like they believe that if you're using a reference, you're cheating. And I'm like, you're not copying it, you're referencing it. And to go back to what you said about the anime, the funny thing about that is, in the conversation about anime, is that it has a very specific style, and it's often a flat style. When you're applying to colleges and stuff, they want to know that you can do a variety of that. Like, obviously, I think if I was applying again to a college, I would have one piece like that, but it wouldn't be my only piece. You want to have a variety. You can show that, yes, I can do more of a 3D looking hand. I can do poses. I can do perspective. So only having quote unquote anime style isn't a good representation of your diversity of skills.
Yeah.
It isn't a way for them to see that, oh, you can do so much besides just that. Like, I love the anime style. I applaud you. I can't do it for the life of me. I think it's amazing that you can do it, but you also need to be able to show variety, especially if you're going like into animation. Because with animation, you need to know that you can adapt to any style. If you're just doing anime, that's hard because that's one style. That's one style that's not going to match with everyone else's. You're going to have a complete animation scene and it cuts to your storyboards and it's all sharp edges and it doesn't match the cartoon at all.
So this is great. I feel like you're also offering a master class to anyone who's looking to art school, because these are really fantastic things to keep in mind, and to know that not everyone will have the same taste or approach as you. And I imagine it's the same now. Like, now you find yourself, you're graduated. What's, are you, what is it like? What is it like to be out there in the world?
It's stressful. Stressful, of course, in the you know, I'm out here on my own. I kind of know what I'm doing, but it's, again, there's that pressure that like, oh my God, I have to start working and I have to start making money. But when I graduated, I had a set plan, being that like, yeah, I'm going to go and do this. And then I'm going to go to another college and I'm going to create all these comics and all this stuff. And you're not expecting roadblocks to happen. Hiccup, I apologize. And there's like, just, you're like, it's, you either have a plan or you don't have a plan when you get out of college. But there was something so freeing about, okay, I'm done school. I don't have a job currently, which is where the shop comes in. And I'm so free. I'm my own boss. I'm a sleep in. I'm going to have coffee whenever I want, and I'm going to draw whatever I want. So it for me, it was freeing, but I can understand so many other people there, so many of my classmates and, old, I guess old artists and stuff I went to school with, is that they also are going through like anxiety. Like they don't have a plan. They don't know what they're doing. And that's okay. You don't have to know what you want to do as soon as you get out of college. I still don't know what I'm fully doing.
I still don't know what I'm fully doing. I think this is the way of life. If you have this ability to adapt or to consider adapting, that's a really wonderful skill to have. And I like to think that artists have a little bit more of that, like a little more spontaneity, a little bit like, okay, how can I imagine or, create my way forward through this?
Oh, 100%. Like, and it comes from like an anxiety that like, which is funny because, I'm so good at adapting to specific things, but I'm also, when it comes to other things like sudden change, I start to panic. And yet, but sometimes if the change is kind of expected, kind of like Murphy's Law, if I know it's going to go wrong, I'm prepared for it. But it's, like the adaptability, I definitely feel like a lot of artists have that, but it also depends on the person. Like if you've got this ton of anxiety, like it's hard to accept that change until you've had a second to like sit and say, okay, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, being able to do what you just mentioned, I think that is a beautiful gift to ourselves, to be able to say, I can take a moment. Like it's important that we can create our own structure so that we don't find ourselves floating around in nothingness and getting lost in it all. Because I think younger artists and graduates, they're not the only ones struggling with that these days. A lot of us are feeling just like, what the hell? What is going on in this world right now?
And it's even worse because of the pandemic. It's like we've suddenly been thrusted a big change, and we've all had to adapt. And some of us have adapted well, and others have adapted not so well. And this also depends on like where you live, what your light flickered, kind of your home environment. Like depending on where you are, it can struggle, and it's hard.
Yeah, everything has an impact. I mean, our privilege, like color of my skin, gender, all the things. So again, like it's a wonderful reminder. Just take a moment. You don't have to move. You don't have to move quickly just because the rest of the world around you seem to be demanding.
Exactly. I'm going to be super cheesy and say that life is a marathon, not a race. You take all the time you want. There is no panic to get to the end. If you want to stop for coffee, go ahead. That's okay. Yeah. If you want to bolt ahead, you go ahead. But there is no take it as your own pace. That's like a big thing. It's like take it at your own pace. Like I've got family who are like they're struggling to go into college, or they're struggling with jobs or stuff, and I got friends and family, and that they're like, oh, I got to do all this right away. I'm like, no, you don't. You can take your time. It's okay. Yeah. Well, of course I say that, but that's like a privilege of mine, in that like. Like depending on circumstances, of course, take your time, but some people can't, and that is okay as well. Like there's nothing wrong with, if you have to do it, go ahead. But if you're capable and privileged enough to be able to sit and take your time with things, do it 100%.
To find the moment when you can take it, to learn how to.
And even if they're just brief moments, they're moments still where you can sit and take your time. Like you don't have to rush.
So I think we'll have to arrange another live stream chat where you come on as educator and life coach. I don't know if anyone else out there is benefiting from it, but I certainly am. So I'll be. I want to talk a little bit more. There's so much I want to talk to you about. But again, wow. Okay. All right. No. Uh, just coming off of that conversation about stigma and digital art and fine art, and getting back to the hand skills, and then way back to the beginning of our chat, where you're talking about collaborating with the community and being, how do you engage as an artist with other human beings, and why is it that can cause so much anxiety?
One thing I can say, from my experience when we were kind of coming into the community collaboration course, was the anxiety was of course, dealing with people. And so it comes from a social anxiety, oh, I don't know these people, are they going to be mean? Are they going to be nice? I don't know. It's that kind of scary indifference that you don't know, okay, is this person going to be nice? Is this person going to be mean? Am I going to get yelled at? I don't want to get yelled at. And
who did yell at you?
That's where the anxiety comes from. They could be the nicest person. You go, oh my God, they're going to yell at me. Why? Why would they yell at you? They're not going to yell at you, honey. And so there's the anxiety comes from uncertainty of the unknown, and that I don't know how they're going to react. I've never done this before. Even coming into this, the anxiety wasn't, oh my God, I have to talk to people and I'm so scared. It's the tech anxiety.
Yeah.
So any kind of doing stuff for the community was so much fun once you got to realize, no, this isn't scary. It's okay. Yeah. Because we got to do so much fun stuff for the community. We got to do coloring pages that dealt with social issues. I don't believe I did any. Oh, I can't remember, actually. I remember I did some coloring pages, but I can't remember what we did that was. I remember coloring pages I did one for Halloween, because it was around this time that we did the collaboration with the LivingRoom studio.
Yeah.
So I did a Halloween one, and then I think I just did a simple basic one. But around the end, we did for the, oh, geez, what is the name of the magazine? It's a magazine that just came out. I don't know. The Wonderlet. Thank you. I was about to ask someone in the chat. Please tell me. The Wonderlet magazine, we dealt with, we had an option of doing social issues. So for mine, the ones that basically affected the community, one that I loved and did was called a group hug, where basically, because of how much stress, fear, and how nasty the world has been, I'm we all just need one big hug. That's what we need. So it was a big group that's just hugging and clinging together. And as an artist, I wanted to represent what that felt like. And so I feel that's one joy that we have as artists, is that we can share, you can share social issues, activism and stuff. But sometimes I wanted to be able to be that person that was we just need a hug. We just need to be happy and have a hug, cry it out.
But I feel one of the reasons why I love that piece so much, and I do love that piece, I remember when Danny shared a sneak peek with me before it was published, and it was, I know, I love it too. For me, I find that image really political. I find that image to be completely in the circle of social justice, and
yeah, that was the other thing too, was that I wanted the centerpiece to be community love and a big hug, but also to be of a political stance too.
Yeah. ILB remembers your coloring pages too. They're beautiful. And that idea too, that self-care and community, and honest, finding ways to connect with other people and connect, but also to comfort. How can we be there in a way that isn't, that provides growth through comfort as well. No, we see you, we hear you. Please see me. Please hear me.
Yeah. The hardest thing that I have learned through my 22 years of life is the hardest thing to be is kind. And people are oh, it's so easy. I'm yes, but it's also really hard, because you're surrounded by, especially right now, everything's nasty, everything's mean. It is so hard to just stay happy and stay kind to other people. Like people, it's so easy just to be nasty and mean because it's right there. It's the first option. And so you have to really make yourself like, no, I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to be loving and kind. And that's what like really drove me to do those pieces is I wanted the political stance, but I also wanted to be able to have a comfort and a kindness and love in my pieces.
Yeah.
Be able to come to me and be like, I 100% stand with you. And I am going to share that through my love and through, sharing the voices and stuff.
Yeah. And the kindness, I think, is such a political place to be.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be, but is. And I myself, I'm not sure about you when you talk about the world and just stepping outside, there is a lot to be reactive about in a negative way. There are many things. And it's very hard. This is a conversation I've been having with myself daily as in the last, few months, just about how do I prevent my heart from hardening?
Exactly. How do you prevent yourself from being nasty, bitter, and mean?
Yeah. Because it might be easy. It's easier to get angry sometimes. And sometimes anger is useful and helpful and it needs to be voiced. Mm-hmm. But preventing me from connecting and learning and growing, then that's something.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that is a part of your work that you do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That's really a beautiful thing.
Thank you. It's a big thing with my work. Like I really drive to try to have loving and happy pieces. And of course, sometimes that's not possible, and that's okay too. Like I'm not always trying to make the world sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be able to brighten someone's day. Like that's a big thing is I'm trying to brighten someone's day. I'm not trying to solve all their problems. I'm just trying to put a smile on their face. Well, if that's because I drew a puppy dog in a bumblebee costume, then yes, I gotta write that down. That's my next piece.
Okay, right. Write it down, and then we'll talk about the fan because I want to go and spend a little bit of time in that world as well. So puppy dogs. So kindness, yes, important. And it's such an important place to try because it's an active thing. We have to cultivate it, right?
Exactly. We have to actively cultivate kindness and love, and it's so hard.
And it's okay. I think one of the things I love about, the acknowledgement that your pieces can be there to brighten someone's day. I don't think you're telling people it's bad not to be happy. I think it's an acknowledgement that that's a place that so many of us spend time in. So it's okay. It's almost the reverse. It's okay to be happy. It's okay.
Exactly. I'm psyching you out. I'm reverse psychology. It's okay to be happy. Like, what? What do you mean? Oh my God, you're psyching me out.
Oh yeah. And you know what, by LB, we agree, like, looking for the good. It's hard. It's hard sometimes. We have to really search for it on some days. So
yeah, exactly.
Good things. I want to talk as we are beginning to wrap up here about, let's start with fan art. Another sometimes misunderstood area in the world of creativity. Because a lot of what you do involves just something. How would you describe that genre of art?
Ooh, so like I guess how I describe it is it's for me specifically, it's a way for me to, I guess, share my love of something of either pop culture, like comic books, TV shows, like a way for me to be able to share my love of it.
Yeah.
And we also have a way to be able to connect to other, I guess, fans, which is a big thing. Like, and like, I already know that there's, sometimes more people prefer original art. Some people prefer fan art. Like I do a bit of both.
Nice.
I got a hiccup again. And so, I love it. It's my dream. It's my most favorite thing to draw. But I also find myself drawing a lot of original work too. But like this side of the world is so fun because everyone has their own voice in how they do like fan art or they share, fan works and stuff. And there's so many people who try to gatekeep that, like, no, if you don't do it this way, it's not right. Or actually that character looks like that. I go, I don't care. Let me have fun. As long as you're not bullying people or anything, that's the thing. Have fun. Have fun. That's so important to me when it comes to fan art. Like back, years ago, one of my New Year's resolutions was create fan works. Like, again, for me, like the art is for me, not because I know it'll get me a bunch of followers, it'll get me tons of likes. I'm drawing this because I enjoy it and I love it.
Yeah.
And I want to share my love out with the world. And if you guys like it too, that's a bonus. That's awesome. I'm so happy you like it, but this is for me.
I love it's an important thing, because then again, it keeps it fresh, it keeps it exciting. If you're in love with something and always sort of looking for, falling in love with whatever is,
Yeah.
it is fresh. It is interesting and exciting. And so when you talk about Bumblebee with a puppy, just to clarify, we're talking about Bumblebee as in?
Yeah. So I was talking about like a puppy dog in a bumblebee costume in a little honeybee.
Okay.
Not the robot. However, the robot with the puppy would also be cute.
So my worlds were colliding there, because I know that you do have a con coming up, don't you?
Yes, I do. So this will be the first time I've announced it. I will be going to this is right here. First time I'm announcing it is I will be at the, so far they haven't said I'm not. I will be at the Toronto Transformers convention at, I believe it's the Baltimore Hotel. I'll have actual dates of when it is, but the Toronto Transformers convention, which is a fan kind of orientated convention. It's a little smaller, but yes, I will be tabling at that as my first artist.
Nice.
So this is my first time I'll be out in the world selling my work.
So the work you'll be selling, I'm assuming, is related to Transformers and that world.
Yes, mostly Transformers, since it is, of course, called a Transformers convention. But I will have a lot of original work as well. Beautiful. I will have variety. Well, I say original in the sense of like, for instance, I'll have tabletop role-playing stuff, for instance, dice, and in that sense of fantasy for like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder.
We haven't even talked about this. You're only up now. Oh my gosh. What?
So I have stickers, and I'm slowly working on prints for Dungeons and Dragons, which I say are original because they're kind of a variety. They're not pinpointed right on to something. Yeah. I have stickers that are currently in the mail. Oh my God, the heart's exploding. I have stickers in the mail that I have a dice that says "The dice never lie." I have a print in the works. I have a print in the works that says "The dice decide your fate," which is all epic with flames and just very, very fun. Like, for instance, I have two of the, you can't even see from here, but I've got two Dungeons and Dragons books here.
Indeed, indeed.
And so like, I'll have a bunch of that stuff. I'll have a bunch of original stuff. I'll have a lot of Pride stuff too, like buttons and mostly buttons, but a lot of Pride buttons, the variety of like the Pride flags. I'll have a lot of original stickers. I have juice boxes. I have the one button I created that says I suck at video games.
I love that one because I suck at video games. So.
I terribly suck at video games. It frustrates my brothers dearly. I'll be going, why can't I get on this building? And they say, you can't. That's not how you do the game. And so, but I don't care, because like the point of that button is that I suck at video games, but I love them dearly. Yeah. So there's a lot of like, the table has to consist of about 50% Transformer works.
Okay.
But I will have like a good, I'm gonna say about another 50 that is just original work, or like more than less than that, but like mostly robots is what you'll see at my table.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I was going to say Transformers and robot adjacent.
Exactly, robot adjacent and stuff. There is like the anxiety going into the con though, is because it is I've had people who have been to that con and have like tabled, and they said like one thing you got to look out for is people, specifically guys who come to you and they're trying to be like, yeah, I know more than you, or anything like that's awesome. I don't care. I just want to draw cool robots. I have seen the show since I was younger. I honestly don't care. Please get away from my table. Stop telling me what I do and do not know.
It'll be so frustrating for them not to be able to get under your skin and make
right. And it's going to be, I've joked to my friends that, I will tell them off, but of course, the anxiety, I'll be crying while I do it. Like, go away.
No, you know what? If we could, I'll sending you lots of positive vibes for the con.
I'll probably have I've joked that I'll probably have like a squirt gun or a water gun. You treat them like a cat. Like, go away. Go away. You're mean. I don't care.
Just with a smile. Just like the smile. Just kindly fuck off.
Like,
anyway.
Go away.
Yeah. This is very, very exciting. So please, yes, let us know. Keep us updated about when the con is.
Yes.
But if we can't make it out to Toronto, where can we find your wonderful, awesome things?
So, in a couple weeks, I'm hopefully praying to the art gods that I can launch the shop very, very soon. We are currently just waiting for the stickers to arrive. There should be arriving between basically today and next Monday. So like this kind of window when they'll show up. And once those stickers arrive, then we just have to do the really, really fun thing of shipping math. Because we have everything. It's just a matter of getting all the little tiny bits figured out, like shipping, weight and parcels and stuff. But eventually I will have a shop on Big Cartel. And as soon as that is up, you're going to find the link in my link tree, or it's even going to be in my bio. Like you'll find where to find it. And either during or after the con, I will have anything left over from the convention available. So it's like, you didn't get anything? That's cool. Like you come to the con and, oh no, that one print is sold out. Don't worry. I'll have it restocked in the shop. Beautiful. But also there's, because there's a pandemic, the possibility of it going online is there too. And that's basically where, if you can't make it to the con, there's probably going to be a online version that everyone can visit and join. So it's like, you can't make the trip out to Toronto. That's totally okay. It'll be available on my shop. Because I really want everyone to be able to have fun little robots to have in their day-to-day life.
Everyone should have that. I think
everyone should have a little bumblebee telling them they can do it.
Well, yes, I agree. What about a puppy in a bumblebee costume being kicked by Bumblebee the Transformer?
That would be very cute. Or even, now this just popped into my head, a puppy in a bumblebee costume and a bumblebee in a puppy costume is also an option. No, I have too many ideas. You can't do this.
Grab the sketchbook.
No.
It's been such an incredible pleasure having you here today.
Thank you so much for letting me join in.
Oh my gosh. And I hope we can have you back sometime and explore other ways of collaborating with you in the future.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to do more coloring pages for you guys. That would be so much fun.
Who knows? Just the beginning. We'll talk.
We'll talk. I'm so excited.
At the same time, in case we don't connect again before the con, which, I think we will. But anyways, have a fantastic, wonderful time. I can't wait to see all these lovely little creations you're bringing just in for the holidays. And
yes, the holiday. Oh, there's my mama.
Well, yeah, of course you're proud. It's amazing having you. Thank you so much for all your wisdom, your art, your heart, everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Having a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Big waves, big waves. Thank you.
Wasn't that amazing? I feel renewed. I feel a lot of joy bubbling up inside of me, and I hope you do too. Thank you so much to Faelan. And if you want to learn more about them and their work and keep on top of that con that's coming up soon, do follow them on Instagram at Ms. Fairy Arts. And learn, appreciate. Who knows? We didn't even ask about commissions, but I'm sure they're open and interested in that. So let them know if you have anything you'd like them to create. But again, I just love that thought that I'm going to carry with me through the rest of the day. And I hope you have a chance to as well, that it's about creating to make you happy. Let go of what anyone else might think or what you think they might think, and just give making art a chance, a go for you, just for you. And if you can do that, who knows where it'll take you. Anyways, thanks so much for joining us again today for another live stream artist chat. We'll be back next Tuesday with another fantastic creator and change maker in our community or beyond. But until then, until we can connect and create with one another in person, I really look forward to connecting with you and creating with you right here online. Bye, folks.